Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be doing my VCT Masters Toronto Playoff Pickems. This tournament has been awesome so far, in my opinion. You got some blowout games that maybe you didn't expect to be blowouts, some really low-level Valorant being played by a few of the teams that got eliminated, but also by some of the teams that, or some teams that made it through have been playing some insanely high-quality Valorant. I think this has been one of the best tournaments in a while in terms of just like game quality throughout the entire tournament. In terms of how well the teams are playing, I think it's better than Champs last year. I definitely think it's better than Bangkok, and I do think it is better than maybe going back to like Shanghai last year, even. So that being said, this was definitely the hardest tournament to predict, and I think that like level of quality definitely plays into that. It feels really wrong to have some of these teams just going out in 2 games. But I think my method of just kind of letting like the map veto decide the first 3 games, like kind of going through and picking who I think would win each map, I think that helped a lot more with these opening 4 games, and then I kind of just went gut feel from there on out. So if you guys enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Really helps me out. I had been streaming more on this channel, and on my Twitch, link to that is in the description. If you want to go check that out. I had been streaming more before Toronto, and then I kind of stopped. I've kind of just gotten too used to hanging out with my girlfriend, and I probably should stream more. Maybe do some like ranked and stuff like that, or even like just play some Minecraft or something, even if I don't want to watch Valorant. So maybe keep an eye out for that. Maybe I'll be playing some dumb other games, like random stuff that I find on Steam. But like and subscribe, or specifically subscribe, turn on notifications, everything. You'll get notifications for that. Also, I'll tweet out when I go live on my Twitter. Link to that is in the description as well. I've been kind of live tweeting this event, kind of giving my thoughts on a lot of different stuff. People have been getting very angry at me over my Chinese takes, or Chinese Valorant takes. So if you're interested in those, go check that out. And yeah, let's get right into this. Okay, so I did this all on VLR on my other monitor. So we'll go through these games kind of as I see fit. Now, the only game in these opening 4 that I did not do the map veto for was G2 Paper X, because honestly, I think G2 is going to revamp like their whole map pool in terms of comps. They were playing Teo on pretty much every map, so they'll be playing different comps on every map. Sunset's going to come in. I don't exactly know what they're going to feel comfortable picking. So it's kind of hard to predict it, and also I would just favor them over Paper X in this game anyways. So that's who I have going through in this game. Then XLG Sentinels. Let me flip back through my notebook here and go to... wait, it was here. And there we go. Found it. And walk you through the maps that I think will be played. So I think the first map will be either Pearl, maybe Icebox, maybe Sunset or something like that. And I have Sentinels picking that. I think no matter what, they are going to win that map. No matter what they end up picking there. I think it'll be Pearl. That would be my guess. And that's who I would have Sen winning that pretty easily over XLG. Even though XLG did show a decently okay Pearl, but their rolls were really bad on that map. And I don't think it'll get better by having a sub in here. Then I have map 2 being Lotus or Haven. Maybe Icebox as well. I could see that. I think XLG should be able to win that map. I think whatever they come out with the map that they want to play, I think they would pick that and win that, because Sen wouldn't be able to prep it. They could also pick something that Sentinels did play, and they can prep that map quite a bit, depending what they want to do. Maybe like a split or something where Sentinels didn't look very good. But I also had them banning split in this, which I just thought about, and I don't know why. It's probably because Sen played it a few times, and they like to target ban what other teams like playing. So I have them winning that map no matter what. And then Sunset I have as the last map, where Sentinels have historically been good on that map, and I have no idea what I'm going to see from XLG. So I did favor Sentinels in that ever so slightly, and I have them winning that game. Then RRQ Wolves. I had Wolves being the first pick, and them picking Pearl. And then I had RRQ picking Ascent the next map. I think both of those could go either way, but I would favor RRQ in both of those. And then Icebox would be the last map, where I would also favor RRQ pretty heavily, actually. Like, Wolves did look good on both of those maps, so I do think they have chances to win, especially if RRQ is a little nervy. I think they could take a map off RRQ, maybe even two, but for this game, I slightly favor RRQ on all three maps that I have in the pool, so I'm going to take them in this game. Then Fnatic Genji. This one was by far the toughest game to pick. Wait, I can flip the page. Where I had Genji picking Ascent to start, then Fnatic picking Split. I favored both teams on their map picks, so it's 1-1. Then it ended up going to Lotus, where both teams have been really good, playing very similar comps. Genji play the Vise instead of the Killjoy that Fnatic plays, but they both play Raze, Omen, Viper, and Fade on that map. Genji hasn't played at this tournament, that's why I had them floating it against Fnatic, and Fnatic, I mean, Genji are very good at it, but I think Fnatic prefer maps like Split, so that's why I had them floating it. And I ever so slightly took Fnatic on that map. They did lose once in EMEA, but that was to Heretics when Heretics was playing at their peak throughout the season. So I ever so slightly favored them in that game, but it was very difficult. Now on to the next games, where I have G2 Sentinels, G2 winning that game. I feel pretty good about G2 running through the uppers of this tournament, so spoiler alert. Then I have RRQ Fnatic, where these map pools kind of intersect a little bit. Like, Fnatic ban Pearl every time. RRQ is really good at Pearl, so that is a pretty big advantage for Fnatic. But I do think the series kind of comes down to who has the better Sunset. And Fnatic historically hasn't been great on that map. RRQ, I am not really sure. So I'm going to take the team that I'm a little bit less sure about. Like, I don't know if RRQ is bad, but I know Fnatic had been bad in the past. Then Paperex XLG. Did not do the map veto for these games, obviously. So I just kind of went with gut feel, and I think XLG is the better team. They play a more structured, sound kind of Valorant and a lot more consistent. If Raga doesn't show up, doesn't play really well, I think Paperex should be able to win this game. This game is kind of a 50-50, but I just kind of prefer XLG's style of play, and I think that kind of gets them through this game for me, at least. And then Genji Wolves. I'm sitting here kind of wishing that if this is what happens, like, I would rather Wolves and XLG swap spots personally, because this game, Paperex Wolves, would be very entertaining. I don't know why my streamer mode didn't turn on. Sorry for the Discord notification. But I think regardless, I have Genji going through. I think they have the mechanical talent to compete with Wolves, and I think they're just the better overall team in terms of like coordination and game plans and all that kind of stuff. But Wolves do a good job of like target banning teams and kind of working through the map pool and everything like that. So that is a little bit scary from them. But overall, I just favor Genji. Then G2, I have beating RRQ. I said that earlier. I favor them to go through uppers in this series, or in this tournament. Not sure about the final. We'll see who I end up picking there. But then I have Fnatic XLG. I think this is where XLG's run comes to an end. It would be a miraculous run for them to make top 4, top 3, something like that, which I possibly would have picked them to do, but they're going to have a sub in this event, so I would imagine that is where their run will end, because it's going to be pretty difficult to make that kind of a run with a sub, no matter who that sub ends up being. Then Sentinels Genji. I'm favoring Genji. They looked significantly better throughout groups. Maybe Sentinels fixes some of their coordination issues throughout the playoffs here when they get to this game. But as of right now, I think Genji's just looking so good. I much prefer their read on this new meta, and I think they are looking a lot better. Then Fnatic Genji. I also have Genji taking this game. Fnatic kind of started the playoffs kind of looking a little shaky. The playoffs of EMEA, that is. They've had less time to prepare, and I think at this point in the tournament, Genji is going to have a deeper playbook that should be able to help them beat Fnatic in this rematch game that I didn't even realize was a rematch until now. But I usually end up picking the loser of the rematch in the rematch, so that did not make any sense. I usually end up picking the loser of the original game in the rematch. There we go. That's what I meant to say. So I have them winning here. And then a rematch of your Pacific final, where I'm going to, again, take the loser of the original game, Genji, in that rematch. They destroyed RRQ in that upper final. I think they kind of just got ran over in that final. RRQ had a ton of momentum after beating Paper Rex in that lower final. I think Gen G gets it here after RRQ just lost to G2. Then G2 Gen G, very close final. I'm not sure who I'm picking here. I definitely, like, at the beginning of the tournament, I much favored G2. And I think if I were doing a power ranking, I would definitely put G2 at the top, but it would be kind of like a pretty decent gap between these two teams. But I think Gen G honestly has a nice run through the bracket here where they can kind of build up some momentum against Wolves and Sen, and then Fnatic they get the rematch on, and then RRQ they also get the rematch on. So I think with that, I'm going to pick G2 in the final, but it's really close. Like at this point in the bracket, I'm kind of just picking who I feel at, if you know what I mean, and I'm feeling G2 for this tournament, as most people probably will. So let me know what you guys think of this bracket in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.